Hello, I'm Dick.
And I'm Eric, and we're the Annuity guys.
Eric, we're living in a changing world.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we all had guaranteed pensions? And,
go back 20, 30 years, everybody had a pension,
Right.
a 401. What's a 401k?
yeah, nobody, go back 30 years, they probably didn't even have a concept of what this world would look like today as far as retirement savings.
And now the vast majority of people have qualified plans, and so it isn't just 401ks.
Right.
IRAs, 403bs, 457s. It's all this money that people have accumulated.
Right. It's now, retirement is no longer on your company as a benefit. It's on you as basically an individual to take care of funding your own retirement. And unfortunately, it's always nice to think, oh yeah, I'll put it off for another day. But unfortunately, if you haven't planned, it's like, uh-oh.
It's on top of it.
Yeah. So hopefully,
right.
Yeah, hopefully most people have started at least funding their 401k and their retirement contributions.
Well, that's the key right there is first of all, saving, accumulating the money.
Right.
And it seems like, folks really do a pretty good job of that. And
especially when they're forced to. A lot of times, you get matching dollars. There's things that
right. There's a great incentive there, and so most folks don't need too much help with that. That's kind of preached along the way.
Yeah.
And once they reach this stage where they're ready to turn it into income or secure it, for their children or whatever, all of a sudden there's not much talk about that.
There's a process. And usually the first question that most people don't even like to answer themselves is, how much income are you going to need? It's
right.
All right, I've reached retirement. I'm here to put the flag in the ground. And it's like, all right, how much income? Well, I don't know, because they haven't started thinking in the sense of, all right, now I have to transition from savings to spending.
Correct.
And as we like to say, savings is really nothing more than deferred spending.
Right.
Because you're going to need those dollars in many times for basically to survive on.
Yeah, and when you start thinking in terms of what do I need, many times, and we don't find this to be the case most of the time, but many times folks will look at their, they may have a pension, they will have Social Security in most cases. They start adding those income streams together, and some of them are already set.
Yeah, some will say, hey, that's all I need. That $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, whatever that number is between those sources, that really takes care of it, and I'm comfortable with that. So I've got all these other savings up here. Then what do I have to do?
Right, and then when we start talking about annuities, they don't serve the same purpose. They may be important to someone for different reasons, but they don't serve the same purpose as using them in income planning, which is really what we're talking about today.
Right. So an annuity, as far as the income planning, is usually to help people, one, satisfy that guaranteed income gap. It's fulfilling that measure of, all right, I have this much from Social Security or those pieces, but really, in order to make sure that I have my health care, my food, my
your standard of living,
I need this much more.
Yeah, you may need another $20,000 a year, maybe $30,000, $40,000 a year to maintain a reasonable lifestyle that you're comfortable with.
Right, and it's really then saying, all right, I really want that portion guaranteed. I don't want to take any risks with that, and I'm going to need it. I'm going to need to offset inflation, making sure that that's covered. And that's where a lot of folks will say, I want that portion guaranted. And looking at annuity, and then it becomes, all right, what kind of annuity do I look at? Oh my gosh, there's all these different Baskin-Robbins varieties of annuities.
Well, and this is where it takes a plan, and you've got so many competing voices out there. Some folks would, advisors would be behind the idea of just pull 3 to 4% out of your portfolio. Just keep it invested. Chances are you're going to be okay.
About 80% of the time, you can make about 30 years.
Right.
If you're okay with 80% chance of success,
and others would take a much more conservative point of view, and even say that annuities really are the better choice for that gap. And of course, we're the annuity guys, so what are we going to say?
Well, and we're going to look at the balanced options.
Right.
It really is. It used to say stocks and bonds. Those were the two avenues that were going to be the most successful for putting you in retirement success rate. Studies now say it's more like
stocks and annuities.
And looking at that balanced approach of saying, how do we secure what we need to? make sure the assets are dedicated to fulfill the goals for what you have as far as that retirement income stream. And that can be done, and it's taking a balanced approach, I think, is really the key.
Yes.
Make sure that you've got your roadmap for success for retirement and put those pieces in place.
Well, and this is where we frequently talk about to get that benchmark. You start with the very least amount that you need in annuities.
Right.
And I guess it would go, I mean, if you were doing planning the other way, it would be the very least amount you need in bonds.
Right.
So, you're just using that same type of an analogy in setting up a balanced portfolio.
Yeah, and that's the key. It's really looking at everything through the filter of what successful retirement looks like for you and put those in place and use, obviously the best tools that you have and resources at your fingertips and the best advisors possible to get you where you want to go.
Sure, absolutely.